Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. How are you? Day 2. Good stuff. Today, we want to look a little bit over our own horizon and look into the future. And afterwards, we're going to have a little talk if we feel bigger or smaller. But first, let me introduce to you my co-host, who doesn't need any introduction because you know her probably anyway, but there's maybe something that you don't know about her. She is actually an agile coach and comes from the semiconductor business and industry, and so the perfect co-host here on stage. Say hi to Karina.
Thank you. And I'm, of course, so thanks for the warm welcome. And I'm honored to be on stage with David. And he is providing Tesla news for over 8 years now. He has a regular podcast. It's a German podcast, Tesla Welt. I think most of you know it. And I think that's the perfect combo to just reflect on this topic today. So what our aim is Terafab. It was presented like the next big thing towards innovation, and I don't want to get too far ahead of this topic because we want to dig into it, but we want to provide you a picture what that actually means. So what is Terafab? What is how's the impact of it, and why it is actually important to discuss this topic. And we invite you to actively interact with us on stage, and therefore we have provided this QR code. If you scan this code with your phone, we will have questions on display also that we raise to the audience, so to you, that will be on display right here on the screen, at the screen. And then we want to make sure that we also discuss what's also on your mind and what pictures you have in mind when it comes to this topic. There's when you have it open, there's a question to answer. It's basic interaction, and if you scroll down at the end of the page, you should have the possibility to raise any questions you have. We see this also, and then we make sure to address it. If we don't come to it, just approach us afterwards, and we're happy to discuss also this topic with you.
Yes, and we wanted to start with this question to you, which is maybe if we show it on screen. Before today, how much did you actually know about Terafab, about the project? Did you hear about it? And there are several answers you can give, because that's interesting for us to see who are the true Tesla nerds here and who are the people who might have just heard about it but don't even know what it's all on about. So maybe we can vote.
All right. So, well, we give you a little more moments, and the majority of you not even just heard about this, but also some of you pretty familiar with it. That's nice. 60 logged in.
Yeah. That's really good. So quite a few have heard actually about it, and some feel that they're pretty familiar with it. But there are still some people who maybe heard about the name but don't exactly know what it's all about. And maybe, Karina, the first question for you would be, when you heard about it for the first time, what did you think? What was your reaction when you've seen the presentation?
Yeah, I will always remember I saw the presentation the night I think it was released or came out, and the next day I was driving to work. So I got in my Tesla, of course, and I thought about it. Okay, now I'm commuting to work. I work with engineering teams, mainly in R&D, and I really thought about this. This is something huge. So when we drive to a regular corporate work, you have a picture in your mind, I do my task, and at the end of the day, I'm done. But then it really created this awareness that this was not just about chip development. So chip developments we use in every, basically in every device we're using, but I had this whole picture what it actually means, from space travel to robots and stuff, and it felt different. It felt different to get to work, and that I'm just a small part in this bigger picture of driving technology, basically, and make it future ready.
Good.
That was awesome, yeah.
So yeah, one day to actually process it overnight, and then yeah, interesting. For me, it was difficult to grasp, actually, because if you look at the numbers, they are just insane. We 1 terawatt of compute. What does that even mean? Developing a galactic civilization. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe you know. But but then I thought they broke it down in a nice way when they said, for example, we're gonna make Star Trek real, because Star Trek, everybody knows Star Trek. So you have at least an idea of what could it look like. And another sentence that I thought was interesting was making out of science fiction science fact. So actually creating something which was pure fiction and can mean anything into something concrete, yeah, which you can grasp, and which is something that is there, that's going to be there. And maybe we make a quick recap of the presentation for the people who don't are really familiar with it. Maybe we can see this. Yeah, this is already a good slide to start with, because I think SpaceX and Tesla, they are doing here something that they always do. It's quite a typical thing, and it's the question of the next bottleneck. What is slowing us down in the future? And so what's the limiting factor? Shout out to Jordan Giesecke for picking the greatest name of a YouTube channel. And that is really, in this case, chips, but not just chips, but also memory, logic, and the packaging, so the whole process. And Elon said there are right now, for example, when it comes to memory, 0 fabs in the US. There's some which are being built right now, but they are not ready before 2028 or even later. So that is a problem, and we see very quickly that Tesla and SpaceX, they don't do a Terafab project because they want to, but they do it because they don't have any other choice but to do it. So on this slide, what do we see, Karina? Can you maybe explain it? Because it looks weird. There's some tiny thing and there's a huge thing next to it.
Yeah, so basically on the left side, you say, how is chip production supplying today? So this is the amount all the fabs worldwide combined can produce today. And on the right side, you see the goal of this collaboration between SpaceX, Tesla, and xAI. They want to exceed, not just by I don't know, 30%, but we're talking here from, how many is it, 20?
20 gigawatts, so 2% of what Tesla needs, actually. They could buy on the market.
Terawatt, yeah.
They buy all the chips that they exist, yeah. So I think that is a very cool slide because it gives an impression of how huge the scale is, really. And, okay. A terawatt. So that's an operational goal, right? But why? Why do we need this? And why is Tesla thinking of needing this? And I think there are 2 other good reasons, and which are why Elon sees this need, actually, and this is this one. It's actually there to make the world a better place. It's there to lead us into this future of abundance, where we're going to hear from Lars in the next talk, right after our talk about it. So And Tesla, for me, I hear that all the time, that why do we need to go to Mars? Why can't we solve the problems on Earth first? And they're actually doing this. So this is the important thing for me, and it's powered by the Terafab, by this project. So let's see if we go to the next slide. Yeah, and again, why to go to space? Because I think it's just the better choice. Here on Earth, we have not a lot of space. If we want to double the output of our energy supply for the next years, because we need to double the amount of power plants. And nobody wants that. Not in my backyard, right? So I think that's important, and nobody was thinking about that really. I felt like it to have data centers in space, to have power production in space, but it becomes available and possible now. And maybe it gives us also a good idea of the scale. Yeah, we are this little dot here, this little, little tiny spot in space somewhere, and we have this huge universe. And maybe, Karina, if we see this, and there's a good point that Elon made. He said the goal is actually serenity. So the goal is to feel good about the scale and about our position in the scale. How do you see that? How do we feel okay with that? Does it not make us really small?
True. So if we look at this slide, we are very tiny in a very massive world. That remains still undiscovered, and I mean, this is I would even say this is a safe position we are in. We're just at the beginning. We're in a position we are safe to try things out. We are safe to fail, and we can learn step by step. And that what makes me I think very confident and positive about how tiny we are in this universum and in this world basically. And we are allowed to learn and keep up with step-by-step development. And I'm actually very excited, especially when it comes to robots and how they will develop with us those steps in the future. So this is something I cannot comprehend right now, but I do feel very optimistic about this fact. Thank you.
Cool. I think there's Emily. I don't know if she's here now, but she's living robots today, and I think that is a very good point, that we can get ready now, and we can still, learn and make mistakes, and we have still time for that.
And when we think about SpaceX, XAI, Tesla, and so on, we are all familiar with those brands. And David, what's your stand on it? How can we? These are actually brands that they're moving forward, and they do extraordinary things. There's already proof to it. So how do you feel? What's your perspective on this?
Yeah, they've proven themselves. So electric cars, but also SpaceX, reusable rockets, etc. And I think it's the new book that Elon is always talking about. It's not the next chapter of Tesla and SpaceX. It's a new book that they are opening, and it's all powered by Terafab. That's the amazing thing about this Terafab presentation that we heard of, that this is really the core where it comes down to. And it reminds me actually of the first Gigafactory, Giga Nevada, where Tesla was planning to double the world output for lithium-ion batteries with one factory as a small, I don't want to say shitty startup, but as a small startup that nobody was taking seriously, and they convinced Panasonic to do that. And I feel like this crazy scale was nobody was believing in that, and they do that all over again. So it's this, it is like a kind of a repetition of this.
Thank you so much for pointing this out. This actually is something to think about. And now the audience is seeing you. You wearing a T-shirt. It says, "It's always sunny in space." Why is this statement so important?
Because it explains, I think, very good, and Tesla did a good job explaining that, or Elon, that it's becoming more efficient to go to space than doing it on Earth. And we can solve a lot of problems by doing that. And so, for example, you heard the facts, like people who watched the presentation, it's 5 times more efficient to have solar panels in space than on Earth. You don't need to protect them with heavy glass. You don't need a lot of batteries in space because it's always sunny in space. And so there are a lot of reasons why it's better. And it's also better for us here because we don't need to use the space that we have here. We get rid of this not in my backyard problem. We actually have another very important point, that it's economically viable. And the core to all of that is really this one. No, this one, Starship. This is the key to space. And it's becoming ready now. Because the cost for the ton to orbit is going to drop below the cost of the ton to transport it by plane here on Earth. So this is really important, I think. And we're going to see the first steps in Austin, Texas, because they built an advanced technology fab there. That's basically a baby Terafab to try it out. And there I'm very happy that Karina is here, because you are from the industry and you know about this, how important this is. Elon said we're going to integrate all the different steps under one roof. That is something that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. So he wants to have the chips, the memory, the packaging, everything there. Why is that? Why do you think that doesn't exist anywhere else? And maybe before, why is that important?
Yeah, Elon has a point. So when we think about Elon, he always thinks in efficiency and what steps or what process steps or what else can we just skip to make it simple. So simplicity is a key in development. And of course, if you have the whole production under one roof, you have it in one facility, you have shorter feedback cycles. We're talking about communication between the departments. We can test it right away. Deployment, everything's just faster. And this is something very I call it agile also. So it goes along with this what I'm also promoting in my job. I think he is going to make this, and when we talk about the industry leaders in the semiconductors, we have different locations around the world. I think my company has like 20 locations.
But it sounds so obvious. So why doesn't anybody else do this already? Maybe you can explain a little bit.
Yeah.
What is the holdback there?
Number one reason is the costs. So, of course, production is cheaper in different countries, in different continents even. And we're talking about a very traditional industry. So hardware development compared to software, which is more fast-paced, is actually really traditional.
You told me you divide that in different countries, like from the cost-wise, right? You
cost-wise. Yeah, we have even somehow different departments in different countries. So while we have R&D in one country, we have the production on another continent, for example, or another country. So yeah, it's the
there was a term for it. It was best cost country, right?
Right. Yeah, we call it. I'm not even sure if I can tell this openly, but since I did not mention the company and I'm not on LinkedIn, so you cannot look me up. We call it. I deleted my LinkedIn when Elon said it's. It's basically we call it best cost countries. So cost efficient countries, and so the company leaders are really the C-level executives. They decide on what, of course, can be manufactured elsewhere and where does it make sense to have R&D settled.
So Elon is basically doing something which is a bit counterintuitive. Like he's doing all in-house, which should make it first of all more expensive, but then he thinks that it's a 10x on quality and what you can achieve because of this fast recursive loop, right?
It is true, and we all know Elon. He does not think in short. I don't know. He does not think, oh, how many money do I have to invest in the next or right now? He thinks on a bigger scale. So he wants to have a life multiplanetary. I hope I pronounced it right. But he wants us in space. That's his vision. Tell me one industry leader thinking about this. So they have the costs in mind. And of course, you have a very huge amount of startup costs, basically. But you have to really think about what is the goal and when does it pay off.
And do you think he's taking a huge risk here? If he,
Always.
Yeah.
So it's Elon. So he's risking everything. So we're talking billions of investments. So, but he has this strong vision, and I believe I'm not sure about all the working conditions in his companies, but I'm sure that it's important for him that his team are also vision driven.
Yeah, I think we've seen proof of that, and I think you're completely right. And you can also add to this that it's a huge opportunity also from a geopolitical standpoint for the US, right? To bring back the production to the US and to have, to go from zero memory fabs to actually having fabs.
And imagine not being dependent on, we're talking supply chains and stuff like that. So really this dependency is a huge setback in development. And Elon thinks beyond that.
Good. We've talked a bit about the fast iteration loop. Is that something that has been missing in the industry so far for you?
Yeah, we're talking about fast iteration loop. There are different, countless business terms for it. People come up with, we need to be more agile, we need to make Scrum and whatever. So these are all words I don't use usually in my business language, although I'm an agile coach for this. But what's important is speed. Think about how long does it take for a Chinese company to produce a product? So the company I work for, this is a leader. It's a German company, leading in the industry, and what a major plus is the quality. So of course it's a German semiconductor and stuff like that. But I always keep saying to people, we need to be faster. And of course, how do you make a development cycle faster? You reduce the steps, like simplicity, you foster simplicity, and you have your recurring feedback loops, test, deploy, and all that. So that also that all comes with development. I'm somehow lost in the. I forgot the question, but you already asked.
No, that's fine. So you have also the advantage that it's when it's in-house. Of course, this loop is much faster, and people don't. Haven't moved on already when they get the feedback, right?
Just imagine from the human side, the communication cycles. When you think about your companies, how many roles does it take in order to get a decision? So we are talking about countless management structures that are some are not creating any roles, they're not creating value. And this is the part of Elon. He has this vision. Create value, provided fast feedback loop and speed, simplicity.
Awesome. So now, of course, we want to ask you, after we heard now why Terafab is necessary, why it's viable right now, we would like to ask you what is actually, which of the future developments which will result out of Terafab are exciting you for you the most? So maybe you can go back to your application. You should have the next question, and you can answer that. And we're going to have a look because there's so many dimensions of this, and I think it's really interesting to hear that from you. I think if you reopen it, you should just still have it.
You can
Or
also scan the QR
scan
code
it
again
again.
if you got dropped
So
out.
what do we have here? Which options, Karina?
So we have powerful AI running in space, of course. Then we have Optimus. AI chip supply, breakthroughs in energy.
I like the first one. I want the full future.
I want a full future, yeah. It's almost a tie.
Yeah. Yeah, I want everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna let you vote a little bit. But I think it's quite clear. You want all of it. That's awesome. And Optimus, very high. Yeah? Cool. Here we go. Yeah, Elon was explaining a little bit how this will work out. So there will basically be different chips. There will be chips for Earth, chips for space, and there's a huge difference between that, because he said basically, if you look at the market for cars, there will be, compared to robots, much more robots than cars in the future. So it's like a 10 to 100x, and that is quite crazy. If you think there are around 100 million cars sold every year, if you 10x that or 100x that, that is something that we can't imagine today. And so that gives also an idea of the real scaling and how big Optimus is going to be. And of course, that makes also a difference on how to produce the chips. There are some differences. Differences is about chips that are in space. They need to be a little bit, can work in a hotter environment, or they need to get hotter. They also need to be more robust. And he basically said he thinks that they're going to have on Earth 100 to 200 gigawatts output per year, and then 1 terawatt in space at some point. And maybe if you look at the scale, think of the robots. What comes to mind? We're going to make this as I think it's a word cloud, right, Karina? Where you can give an answer if you look at the question, if 1 or 10 million humanoid robots, and that's just the first step, will come out of Fremont and Austin per year. What's your first word association which comes to mind? Maybe you can type something and we're going to see the results.
See how the cloud is growing. AI.
Maybe as we see the cloud and as we see the cloud develop, Karina, we can talk a little bit about why is this project Terafab so important for humanity's future? What do you think is the main point about it?
Yeah, and the reason I like this question is it really makes me think, because when we think about robots or future developments, we think about robots doing the chores for us. That's I just saw it on the cloud. But again, this vision-driven Elon approach is, I mean, this enormous compute needed for all the AI technology. This is a necessity in the future. Not just it drives innovation, also it will create a lot of new jobs, a lot of demand, and economic abundance in general.
Yeah, I think he said a human can process just a couple of hundreds of bits basically per second, and a computer can do 1 trillion bits per second. And so this is why we need this compute. So I think, interesting. there is also this adventure. For me, there's this adventure aspect of it, right? This exploring new worlds, something which is deep into the human nature somehow, that we've been, from the early beginnings on, always there to go to the next level, to develop, to drive tech, and to finally go out there and try to find new, a bright and optimistic future, basically. This is interesting, I think, and maybe one aspect, because if you look at the cloud, abundance is the center, right?
Right.
Maybe we look a little bit, I like AI as well.
Yeah.
So slavery, interesting. One. iRobot, also something that I read a lot of in comments under below videos. So it's not all right for everybody. If
No,
you
it's
think,
not.
yeah,
Of course not.
It's something where people, as you said, start thinking, and I think it's important to do this. And maybe we kind of need also an open mindset if you think about this approach. What do you think is needed if you want to be open to this kind of development?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because one of the human traits is we are resistant to, so we do not like change. This is not something that a human can easily comprehend. That's why also you don't have to like the change, but if you maintain this openness and mindset and a massive amount of curiosity, then you have this open mind. And of course, when you think of your everyday examples at work, you have to change your office space, or you get a new manager and stuff like that. There's this resistance, and this we are talking on a whole new level. We will introduce machines in our very personal environments. We will. I mean, this is really a cool outlook, so to say. But also, there's a lot of people. I think people will go on the streets and they will say, no, too much tech, all my data, nothing is private anymore. And we will suffer, and we will have Terminator scenes on the streets and stuff, and all the machines against us. But also in my work, this is my mission, to really invite people to open your mind towards, do you want to try this out? When I introduce changes in business, when I work with team, I do a lot of team development and leadership development. I never said do this in order to achieve that. I say, are you willing to try this out as a first step? And then we move on from there. And then we go into this feedback loop, what worked well, what needs change, and then we again do it. And those are the small steps I was emphasizing in the beginning, those small feedback loops. So really this open mind in general. I think that's even a lifesaver, I think, in the future. That's what I want to point out.
Yeah, very good point. For me, it's I really like nerding out about numbers and how much data throughput has the new V3 satellites and stuff like that. But in the end, I think it's important to not lose this look or this focus on why are they doing this, and what are the chances or what are the opportunities that coming out of this. And again, it's to make this Earth better and our lives better. And I think it's at least that gives me the openness of my mind to look at the positive side and see that opportunities are higher probably than the downsides of it. So that's what it comes down to. So now we've talked a lot about Terafab and the project, and now we want you to forget everything we just said, and we want to hear from you, not what you think about Terafab, but what do you think, what does an exciting future look like for you? Maybe.
We'll
you
see
can.
the answers popping
It's
up.
a word cloud
shortly,
again, right?
yeah. No, it is. I think it's a text.
Oh, you can write a text.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can
yeah.
write more than a word, and maybe because that's also, you said, yeah, we have to think, or it makes us think about stuff like this. And I think it's interesting to have this, or to look at this aspect. What future do I actually like? Right?
Yeah, that's a thing. What is the future I want to create? And it's not just for the own family and the kids and the next generation. It's really far beyond that. Well, see, what do we have with freedom to explore deep space? I mean, Elon taught a lot of structures we are used to now, and we are in a system like all this financial system and money and so on. Elon thinks that that's not needed in the future anymore. We will have different demands. We will have this. Everyone will be wealthy on Earth. That's what he stated. And I see it right here. Star Trek becomes reality. I think we're not too far away from this. Optimus, of course. Longevity, I'm not sure about this, but I'm sure that we will hack a way to for our health.
Yeah,
also,
I think Optimus will enable unlimited coffee for sure.
Oh, unlimited coffee, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, sense in life. That's also a very important one. Subscribe to Real Rusty. Awesome. Yeah, but I think we could now look at all these answers that you gave and have a look on what actually the Terafab project matches with. And I think that's an interesting question that you can ask yourself if you typed in an answer and you said, this is what I would like, and think about, is actually this vision from Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon, does that match with, or is there a possibility that it matches and it brings the outcome that I'm hoping for? I think that would be interesting. I like 42 as well as an answer. And maybe we can go to the next one, right?
Yeah, we have one. We have a final question basically for you prepared, which is you have now followed our conversation today about Terafab. You heard a little bit about this. So when you go out of this room or you connect again with your family or friend, what's the first thing you would tell tomorrow about what you have heard in our talk?
Yeah. The future will be great. Awesome.
Don't be a hater.
The future is solar. Very good as well. Yeah.
Ja, genau. Was dann sagst du das nicht, dann machst du das nicht.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great. Need more Tesla shares. Ew. That's good.
Elon is crazy again.
We'll maybe make some bumper stickers out of your "It's always sunny in space." That would be a good bumper.
With the stickers, I have always the feeling, if you didn't know that he was crazy all along, why did you buy this car anyway? So, right? Yeah. Awesome. Very good. Awesome answers. Awesome answers.
We wanted to wrap this up our talk with this question. So I hope you enjoyed it and got a little bit of insight what Terafab is, how does it fit into our futures plan.
Yes, and hopefully it gets you a little bit ready, not just for the future, but also for the next talks here from Lars, who's going to talk about the abundance in the future, and also Emily, who's back on stage with her robot experience. So I think there are some, I forgot the other ones, I think, which are afterwards, but there are awesome talks coming up. So thank you very much for listening. And if you don't follow us yet on X or YouTube, you can feel free to do that. At K Dallas, Dallas like the town, AT
for Austria,
is your account, and at Tesla Welt is my account on X, and of course on YouTube, Tesla Welt Podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Great.